Break effect damage left, right and center. Everyone is doing break effect damage. Hey, what's up guys, Vakosi here, and today I will take a look at the brand new Harmony Trailblazer. I will keep this guide short, no nonsense whatsoever. We will talk about everything you need to know in quote-unquote less than 10 minutes. Let us get started. The new Harmony Trailblazer is all about increasing the break effect of your entire team, while also allowing you to do super break damage. Especially once we have Idolon 4, because then she becomes a true powerhouse that can be used in almost every single team composition. Now her kit is super simple. Her talent will restore some energy for her whenever you break your opponents, her skill will do bouncing damage on her attack, and her ultimate will give your entire team the backup dancer effect, which will increase your break effect, and on top of that you will also deal additional damage called super break damage whenever you attack a weakness broken enemy while her ultimate is active. Let us take a closer look at the super break damage, because that is where she truly shines. Like I said, this effect is always active when you attack opponents while they are weakness broken. The damage itself is calculated based on the toughness damage you do with your attack. If we take a look at Archron's skill, for example, you will do 60 toughness damage to your main target. Keep in mind though that her skill doesn't just do damage to your main target, but also your adjacent targets. So characters who do a lot of AoE damage, or characters who attack very often generally speaking, are extremely powerful in that regard. And on top of that, the super break damage does not care about your opponent's elemental resistance. It will always do its full damage. As such, if you attack 5 weakness broken opponents at the same time, you will do super break damage to every single one of them. Now for all us nerds out here, let us quickly calculate the very basic super break damage we would do by using Archron's skill. That is without any other buffs coming from Ruin May, Relic sets and so on. We only have Archron and our Harmony Trailblazer. First, we have our very basic multiplier, which at level 80 is always around 3767. After that, we have our before mentioned toughness damage. In the case of Archron's skill, we have 60. You always have to divide that number by 30, so in the case of her skill, it is 60 divided by 30, or in the case of her ultimate, it is 105 divided by 30. After that, we take our break effect, you know, the stat, +1, and in the case of Archron, I equipped as much break effect as I could, which you usually don't do, but, you know, whatever. Finally, we have the Trailblazer's ultimate buff, and we did our calculation with 5 enemies on the field, so a 60% increase to our super break. We add +1 to that, and after that we take all the opponent's multipliers like defense rating, resistance and so on into our calculation as well. And after using your calculator, you will end up at around 20k extra damage on top of everything else we do. Not to mention that we didn't include characters like Ruin May, and we only used Archron's skill for this instead of her ultimate. So, in my opinion, really good. Moving on to her technique, you will simply increase your break effect by 30% for 2 turns, which technically will increase your break effect damage even more. While her remaining bonus abilities increase the effectiveness of her kit. You can read through them by yourself, but they are more or less passive traces you don't need to pay attention to, as they always work by themselves. Now before we move on to some of the more important sections for every character guide, I quickly want to mention one point that might be noteworthy for the future. Break effect itself didn't really have its spotlight in the game yet. Break efficiency for sure, in the form of Ruin May, but break effect not really. We have characters like Juri, Gallagher and Sushang, but no 5-star characters as of yet. And considering that our devs generally speaking know what they are doing, I wouldn't be surprised to see characters in the future that are built around break effect, so keep your eyes open for that. Moving on to her Idolons, it is important to mention that you will be able to unlock all of them in the future. Currently I only have one of them, but I will put up a pinned comment which I will update as soon as I find more Idolons. You will probably get them from more story quests, vendors and so on. Idolon 1 will basically make the first skill in combat free, or at least you get your skill point back. Idolon 2 will increase your energy regeneration by 25% for 3 turns, which is really good in her case, because we can use her ultimate fairly soon, once we start combat, and Idolon number 3 and 5 do the same as they always do. Idolon 4 is the big one for our Trailblazer because this one is going to turn her into a machine. It will basically give 15% of the Trailblazer's break effect to her allies. And as such, you already know the main stat you want to go for once you have Idolon 4, or even before that. Idolon 6 will increase the overall number of the bounces on her skill by 2, so her skill will now bounce 6 times instead of 4. This is also insane as it basically turns your skill into a nuke if you attack weakness broken enemies, of course. It basically goes up to, I think, 150 toughness damage, and for a skill that is simply put insane. Keep in mind, earlier we had our Archon example, she only has 60. And if you have Idolon 6 on your Trailblazer, your skill has 150. That's almost triple the toughness damage. So basically it's a really, really good ability. Not to mention you will also get more energy out of your skill for your ultimate, so overall really, really good. When it comes to relics, there's kinda only one set you want to use. And if you farmed the Pioneer set for Archon, you might already have some good pieces for it. And of course I'm talking about the Watchmaker set. This one will give you break effect and even more break effect after using your ultimate. If you don't have good pieces for it yet, don't worry, you can also go for a 4-piece Thief set or a 2-piece combination of both of them. A 2-piece Hacker Space can also technically be used, but personally I will go for a 4-piece Watchmaker set. Regarding ornaments, simply use a Thalia set. As simple as that. You can also go for a Broken Keel set or Ageless or even Penacony if you use Dr. Ratio and Imbibitor Lunae. But like I said, if you want to have it super simple, just go for the Thalia set and you're good to go. Obviously, as a disclaimer, she is still fairly new and I created this whole guide based on the live version of the game. So literally today, one day after the release of the patch. And because of that, there might still be, a few things that are subject to change. But generally speaking, I would say go for the Thalia set and you're good to go. Talking about good pieces, what substats and main stats do you want to have? Well, do-de-da, break effect, right? After that you can go for speed, attack, crit rate and crit damage in that order. For main stats, it depends on what you want her to do. Is she going to be a pure support break effect character? If yes, then go as tanky as you can. HP or def on her chest and her sphere, speed on her boots, and break effect or energy recharge on her link rope. Energy recharge will be better until you have Idolon 6, but if you want to go for break effect before that, you might as well do it. However, if you want to squeeze out as much damage as you can also go for offensive stats. Entirely up to you. Personally, I will go for a defensive version, and in that case, her substats are also going to be defensive, so defense rating, HP and all of that stuff. Regarding certain stat goals, in my opinion there are only 2 that are important to mention. Break effect, 200% or more, and speed. If you're using the Thalia set, then obviously you want to have 145 speed in order to get the full benefit. If you're not using Thalia, you're good to go if you have around 134 speed, or you can also go for a hyper carry version where you have 160 speed, but 160 speed is not that easy to get, so good luck when it comes to that. Although, keep in mind that her best teammate is going to be Ruin Mei, and she does give you a 10% speed bonus, so it is a little bit easier. In fact, Ruin Mei and the Harmony Trailblazer are the very core for every single team composition there is, but we will talk about that in a moment. Moving on to her Lightcons, the most obvious choice is Memories of the Past. As simple as that. You can also use Ruin Mei's Lightcon, but if you have that one, you most likely have her as well, so use it on Ruin Mei instead. Memories of the Past will give you a massive boost to your break effect, and it will also give you energy regeneration. So overall, a really, really good Lightcon for our Trailblazer. As always, you can also use the other Harmony Lightcons, the normal ones we always mention in these guides, like Bronya's Signature Lightcon or the Forza version of it, Past and Future, or even Dance Dance Dance. All of them work. If you don't have any good Harmony Lightcons and you need a free-to-play option, you can also buy Dreamville Adventure from the messenger on board of the train. You will need about 1,000 fragments for this one to fully upgrade it to level 5. Finally, we have team composition. Like I mentioned before, Ruin Mei is a must-use unit if you have her. Not only is she a universal support character and well beloved by the community, but she is also able to increase your weakness break efficiency. And weakness break efficiency and weakness break effect go hand in hand together like peanut butter and jelly. They just work. If you don't have her, you can also use Silverwolf, Peeler or any other standard support character. The sustainer we are going to use is in 99% of the cases, without a doubt, Gallagher. Not only do you build him on break effect to begin with, but his talent will also increase the break effect damage your opponents take. And if you have Idolon 4 or maybe even Idolon 6, he becomes even better. Gallagher is, simply put, like Runmei, the best sustain for a break effect team at the moment. If you don't have him, you can also use characters like Hyhwe or Fushwang, but if you have him, use him. Finally, regarding our main DPS, there are a variety of characters you can choose from. Juri is for example really good because she basically double profits from the Trailblazer's kit. But you can also use characters like Shishwang, Luca or basically any other DPS character in the game. Like I said before, keep your eyes open for the future characters. Knowing MiHoYo, they will probably introduce a 5-star character based on break effect fairly soon, because so far we don't have one. Which brings us to my own review regarding the Harmony Trailblazer. First of all, I want to mention that if you haven't played through the new Trailblazer story yet, then go ahead and do so. It was a truly amazing ending to the story of Penacony. 10 out of 10, absolute perfection. When it comes to our Trailblazer herself, also 10 out of 10. As simple as that. Not only is she super free to play friendly, considering that her team is basically made out of 4-star characters, with the exception of Runmei, but she's also super simple to build. Just go break effect and speed and you're good to go. Besides that, her kit does introduce a new type of meta, which might become even better in the future. And obviously break effect might be really good for pure fiction and the memory of chaos, as you have a lot of easily breakable enemies in there. So yeah, overall a really good character. I for once will try to find her remaining Idolons now, and I wish you all a lot of fun on Penacony. Bakosi signing out, have a great day or night wherever you live, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.